Hello, everyone. Danty analysis zooming in on this fight card: UFC Fight Night Overeem versus Harris with Monique from Combat Unwrapped Sports. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm excited. I can't believe Wednesday, the day before my birthday, we had a card, and now just a few days later, we have something else to look forward to. So
Yes, absolutely. And I can't remember the time that we had like UFC cards like on the same weekend. Besides having like Contender Series, but yeah, this is a real treat, and I think it's the kind of treat we need.
yeah, I mean, like I told you before in the last episode that obviously with everything that's going on, it's hard for me to be totally excited about all these fight cards happening. But
Mm-hmm.
in terms of being a fan, of
Right.
course I am, and we
Right.
have some
Right.
stellar fights in
Mm-hmm.
this card.
Yes. So let's get into it. So the first match of the prelims: Rodrigo Nascimento Ferreira versus Dante King Kong Mays. Who do you got?
Oh man, who do I have? I think that people think that I just always have like this one opinion about who's gonna win. Like that's not necessarily true
Mm-hmm.
because I think that obviously I'm on the Rodrigo train. Anybody that knows me,
Right.
having someone who is 7-0 undefeated,
Mm-hmm.
in heavyweight, which
Yeah.
obviously means something about either his power or because I guess heavyweights you don't see many that really go to the ground and make people suffer like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
mostly standing up. So
Yeah.
of course, no offense, I'm not gonna be like choosing an underdog in this fight. I'm gonna
Yeah.
choose Rodrigo for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't see a lot of diversity in styles or matchups in heavyweight. I think that's what Daniel Cormier was referring to when after he fought Derek Lewis, that the heavyweight division hasn't evolved from just stand up. But I think someone like Rodrigo is a nice way to speed up that evolution with the way he submits people. And seeing him from the Contender Series, you can see how well he is with submissions, and it'll cause some problems in the heavyweight division.
I think so too because like you said, like DC has I guess talked about it's true. Anybody who's watched a lot of these fight cards, pay per views, anybody who's like a heavyweight fighter, like 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be standing up. And as much as I love that and seeing the power, like obviously Francis Ngannou, we were talking about this like what 2 seconds ago, that he has a lot of power, especially standing up. He just literally throws wild punches. But then you have people like Fabricio Verdum, that are a little bit different because you know that he's like pretty much a master of BJJ, and like it would be nice to see a little bit more variety, for me at least as a
Mm-hmm.
fan, because I think a lot of people like they have either a love and hate relationship with heavyweight divisions because
Mm-hmm.
some people hate them because the fact that it's just kind of boring unless you're gonna knock someone out, and then some people love them because of that juggernaut power that a lot of them have, right? So that's just that's why I'm picking Rodrigo. I think he's more well rounded. Obviously, I think like you said, 7-0 is no joke, especially in heavyweight. That is
Right.
like you know what I mean? Like you don't really see a
Mm-hmm.
lot of fighters in heavyweight really have that streak. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think I'll go with Rodrigo on this one. How about you?
we are tied
Alrighty.
right now.
All right. Let's go to the next one. Courtney Casey versus Mara Romero Borella.
that is
Borea.
that is quite a little bit of a tongue
Yeah,
twister. So
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
give you that.
Yeah, Cast Iron versus Mara Villa. So who?
That's right.
It's all right. So how are you going to see this?
This is tough for me
Mm-hmm.
because I've never been like really sure about Courtney
Mm-hmm.
Casey.
Yeah. I mean,
That flyweight division is no joke in the women's. So
yeah. Flyweight. I mean, it's basically just cannon fodder to Valentina, but it's good to see who can rise above the pack.
right, and here's the thing, and I'm gonna be totally honest, and this might sound really mean, but I don't
Sure.
think either of them
Mm.
are ever gonna be in that running,
All right.
especially in the next 2 years. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Courtney Casey is about 8-7, and
Uh-huh.
then Mara Romero Borella is 12-7, and she has two no contests. So like for me, like I'm not gonna say that I care much about this fight. I do care about a lot of women's fights though, because they're a bit more feisty. They're a bit more aggressive. I guess in terms of just technique, I'm gonna have to go with Casey. But that's it. Like, cause I don't, like I said, I don't think either of them are really stellar fighters, especially in this division.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I remember seeing Barella's last fight. Yeah, she was really. Yeah, she had a pretty clean stand-up game, and with Courtney Casey, she's reliably competent in her stand-up as well. I'm just trying. I don't think you'll see a lot of. You might, but just from the submission and TKO ratio on both of them, Courtney has a more consistent ratio with than Barella has. So you might see a little bit of stand up and grappling, but I don't know if it'll be that much. I think a majority will be standing. So, but
Yep,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, just based on that, uh, yeah, I think this is I think she's going in with a loss of Casey. I think how many losses? Two losses, one loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think she'll be bringing in her A game, just knowing what she has to do. So with that, this is gonna be interesting. I mean, just to be honest, I say I'll give it to Casey.
Okay, we tied again.
All right. So let's go to the next one. Ooh, this will be a veteran's delight. So this is Darren Elkins, The Damage, versus Nate Landwehr.
Okay. I think I love Darren Elkins. Anyone who knows me knows that I love Darren Elkins. Like, Nate Landwehr is obviously, he's no joke. They're 13-3, especially featherweight, which, like, again, is another division for the men's that is really, really, kind of like rising in terms of the amount of competition that it has. I guess, like, my whole thing is that I realize that a lot of different divisions now just have so much competition. And I think that Elkins, as much as Nate Landwehr, I respect you a lot. I think that Elkins is way more well-rounded. I think that he's smarter. 24-8 is not a bad record whatsoever. Right. And he has about 11 more fights under his belt than Nate Landwehr. So, like, for that reason alone, I'm gonna pick Elkins.
Yeah, but I'm looking at a Nate Landwehr, and I've been looking at leading up to this fight card. Yeah, I mean, he's picked up quite a few, quite a couple of belts. So with that experience, I think he will have the mentality of like proving himself in the UFC. So, so I think it's just like another like up and comer trying to prove himself with a name. And so I think that's when Darren Elkins will be the spoiler to all of that. But the last time he came in, he got knocked out. So I think he'll try to, I guess, play this carefully. Yeah. With that said, Darren Elkins is a scrapper. I don't know how well Landwehr will be able to adapt to a Darren Elkins kind of fighting. So this will be an interesting thing to see. I think I'll go with Landwehr though for this one.
Okay, now we're not tied.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. But definitely, I think this will be like a good fight to see. Maybe even fight of the night, even.
Could be for sure.
Alrighty. Next, Mike Davis versus Giga Chikadze. From Sweet, Georgia.
Is Mike Davis like a substitute?
Doesn't look like it. It looks like it's an official one. Yep.
Funny enough, when I look at the card, I guess maybe they didn't. I don't know if they updated or not, but I have Erwin Rivera actually on mine.
Okay. Looks like Beast Boy has a pretty good finishing record, as does Chikadze. Only like a few of his fights went into like a couple or one of his fights went into decision. So, yeah, we're looking like it looks like we're looking at a barn burner here. What do you got?
I think I am on a Chikadze. Giga Giga. Like that was me. Like all literally, I don't know how long it's been,
Mm-hmm.
but 9-2. You kidding me right now?
Mm-hmm.
In again a division that has a lot of great competition. One of my favorite actually divisions of all time is just because they have like so many different fighters. You
Mm-hmm.
can name literally 15 or 20 of them that would actually be really, I guess they would be contenders for that belt, or they would be considered as elite, exciting fighters. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm not budging on this one. Giga is gonna have me
I see.
for
I
this
see.
for this. I honestly like Davis. I respect a lot of fighters, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think like my gut is only gonna tell me one thing
Mm-hmm.
right now, and like 9-2,
Right.
that is just gonna keep going for Giga Chikadze. So that's just where my head is headed at. I don't know about you though, because I don't know who's actually fighting him, because now my fight card is kind of like
Right. Right. Right.
weird.
But he's putting up a fight streak, so like he'll be trying to prolong it. As for Beast Boy, yeah, it's been a while since he last fought. I remember that fight where it was like against Gifford, and Gifford was
Mm-hmm.
being he was given the pain. Yeah, it was a really controversial finish because they were complaining to the ref that he wasn't stopping it or looking at the signs, and some of it was. Uh, some of the blame was put onto the Gifford's team for not stopping it sooner. Kind of like last night's card. Yeah, I mean Wednesday's card. But yeah, so I think he'll be coming off of some sort of high, as is Giga, but I think Giga's will be higher considering the streak. So this will be a don't blink kind of fight. I'm guessing, but
Yeah. So who are you gonna get?
I think I'll be going with Beast Boy.
Okay. Again, we are not tied.
Yeah, this is good. Conflict. Yay.
No, I mean, like, honestly, like, that this card, if you think about all the fights that are on this card, I have my hype favorites right now. So that's the reason why, like, I guess maybe we're going to disagree on some of the fighters. But we will see, right? Obviously, after tomorrow.
Yep. All right, yeah, and with that, let's go on to Anthony Hernandez, Fluffy, versus Kevin Holland. Fluffy!
I cannot when you say Fluffy.
Oh, man, reminds me of Gabriel Iglesias.
No, oh my god, I'm gonna watch his special right after.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll late this because, like I said, literally 2 seconds ago, I have my hype favorites. Hernandez is my hype favorite in the middleweight. 7-1 with one no contest. That's ridiculous. You know, he is still he's still young.
Yeah.
He's still up and coming, and that to me is kind of scary because you never know what's going to happen. In the middleweight, you don't really see a lot of that kind of competition. In my opinion, there's only a few fighters that would be like top elite fighters that are a contender for the belt. But like for someone like him to come along and like for him to do what he does in the middleweight division, it makes me kind of hopeful that there's going to be more competition in that.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, and that's definitely a good thing. And I think the last time he fought someone, yeah, and what I was really just, I guess, bizarrely fascinated by was his match with Marcus Perez.
Yeah.
I think he was like the only kung fu fighter. I think he's the only kung fu fighter in the division, and I think the only kung fu fighter in the UFC. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm always interested in fighters that bring a different kind of style. What John Jones with his Luxie do, and I think there was like one fighter with the luchador style. Well, with that said, I didn't see him display any kind of luchador-esque fighting when he fought. The only person that was close to that was Michel Pereira, and even that didn't work because he kept gassing out. But yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, it's funny because now I'm looking at his record. I remember that he was supposed to fight someone that I know from, the Contender Series. His name is, I'm going to butcher this, so I apologize. Funanhale Soriano, like the guy that pretty much came from Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. And, and I was looking forward to that because, like, actually, I like Soriano a lot. And then, when I'm looking at the people that he's he's faced and he's won. Like Jun Park, he was 6-1. Well, 6-0 now 6-1.
Right.
You know, and so like he lost to someone who was undefeated before, Perez, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so you think about like this man has beaten like at least one person that is pretty much undefeated before. Like he's literally been given people that were undefeated from the beginning. And so like I'm really like look at what's called. There's called Kenny, Anto, Preston Snook, Jamal Hunter. Like they're all undefeated. Mike Persons, Brendan Allen, like that he won against, right? So of course I'm not gonna be like, you know, that I'm gonna bet against him. Are you kidding me? Right now, this man has literally faced people that were undefeated.
Right. So yeah, it'll be an interesting fight. Yeah, with Kevin Holland, I see that he's been moving things towards decision fights. He had last 2 wins at decision, but I think he got finished in his most recent fight. So yeah, I think he'll be coming in with something to prove and also to, I guess, get a winning streak together. As for Hernandez, I think it's just another win in his column. But with that said, I think I'll take Hernandez on this one.
Okay, now we back.
We back. All right, this will be interesting. For the feature prelim, Matt Brown the Immortal versus Miguel Baiza.
Oh man.
Oh man, this is.
I know you're like me. I'm like, oh man, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah. It's just I really love Matt Brown. Like the kind of love you have for the fighters you like, I have the way for Matt Brown because he's just rugged. He's just like rugged.
Here's the thing. I literally had that in my brain. Just when I saw the fight, I'm like, oh man, but I love Matt Brown. But here's the thing. I'm gonna make the same type of argument that I did for Anthony Hernandez.
Right.
So what I like to call him Caramel Thunder instead of Miguel Baiza, but he is 8-0. If anybody does not know his record, not only that, you know, like I said before, other fighters that he's faced undefeated, and a lot of the other fights that didn't happen were just canceled.
Right. Yeah, and so he'll have to test himself against a veteran like Matt Brown, who is a scrapper in and of himself. Yeah.
It's like tough for me because I grew up loving and watching the Immortal on especially the UFC stage, and no joke, one of the first UFC live bouts that I've been to was when Cowboy Cerrone beat Matt Brown, funny enough, with that amazing kick. So I love Matt Brown, but I don't know if I can just go ahead and just bet on him if I'm just going to be actually serious about everything. Matt Brown is no joke. He's 22-16, veteran to the max.
Yeah.
And he's faced a lot of different people that are obviously no joke. Diego Sanchez, he won against him.
Right.
It means Eric Silva. You know, like I'm just talking like only a few of them on this record so far. You know, he won against Stephen Thompson, Wonder Boy, as well. So you have to think to yourself, like, there is obviously a great chance that he's going to beat this kind of like a rookie, you know, in this sport compared to him. Like, he's just like, compared to Matt Brown, you're pretty much going to be a rookie because of all the experience that he's gotten and the people that he's faced. I think that Miguel Baiza, like, I think that this is going to be tough for him because he's never faced a veteran like that. Ever, if you look at his record.
Yeah.
So, but I think he's going to get it done? I do think he's going to get it done, just based on what I've seen from him so far.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's a Contender Series delight because a lot of the people who have been in the Contender Series, they're just going to be like a good portion of them are going to be on this card to prove themselves. So if you're interested in seeing Contender action, tune in for this one. Yeah, and with that, I think I'll go with Baiza as well.
Okay, we disagree on 2. That's fine by me. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Yeah.
This is gonna be fun now.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the main card.
Yeah. And just before we move on, just a little bit on Baiza, I saw that like the only decision win he had was with someone with a 10-3 record. So with someone with some experience, he might have a little bit of problems, but I just wonder if it's going to be at the same level as Matt Brown, because yeah, I mean, different fighters, different mentality, and it's just something to think of. But with that said, I'll stick with Beza again.
Okay.
All right, now we're on to the main card: Song Yadong versus Marlon Vera.
Song Yadong.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love his name.
Okay. I'm gonna say one thing.
Yep.
You already know. After, anybody who's not actually listened to this podcast and heard me actually say anything, I do not like Team Alpha Male. However, there's only a few people or fighters from there, including Faber, that I actually think are really cool. Song Yadong.
Right.
Now, last performance, I am not okay with what happened. That was really weird. You know. So it's for me, like, you know, I love both of them. I'm looking at both of them right now. Song Yadong is like kind of like what we call like that. You can tell he's just so up and coming. Like you can tell from his last fight, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Song Yadong," you know, because of his his other performances. Now Marlon Vera, again, no joke. They almost have the same record. Song Yadong has 15 and Marlon Vera has 15-5 in the featherweight division.
Chito.
I think and I think that Song Yadong, if he's gonna perform better than what he did last fight, then yes, I have my money on him. That's my answer to this.
Yeah, he's a rugged guy. So yeah, I think Chito is pretty rugged. I mean, his last fight was it with the TKO when what I wanted, or it was a KO. Yeah, it was in the late rounds. So he shows that he's able to, I guess, go through all 3 rounds with his cardio. And as for Song, yeah, it looks like he has a few decision wins. And although his last one was in a draw,
I didn't like that.
Yeah,
it was so stupid. Like he should have won that fight. I don't know what the hell happened. Like no offense to his opponent, was amazing. I actually thought he did way better than what I expected and what many people probably expected. But a lot of people, like I said, like a lot of fans, they have their favorites, and one of them is Song Yadong. And I'm saying, like, if he ever lost, or, you know, like that, I'm not surprised because he didn't fight the best that he could, and I've seen him fight really great matches. So.
Yeah. And so with that, I think he'll be trying to, I guess, shake things up with this fight card. Yeah, I don't think he wants to. I guess I don't think he wants to keep that draw in his head too long. So
I wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. This is gonna be a tough one because they're just they look like two people that will just give it to each other. So.
Who you got? You already know who I got.
Yeah.
I don't want to get him. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to chip for anybody from Team Alpha Male, but if we're just going to be honest, like, yeah, of course, so.
Yeah. It's like Team Alpha Male does bring it with their fighters. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also, just as a side note, I do like Josh Emmett.
Oh, no, I don't mind him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just a few...
It's just crazy. Like, I think the younger fighters, to me, are the ones that I don't really like because it's because they're young, you know, like let's go, Greg. I might have told you my age, my birthday, but I'm not young, and so like that's the whole point, like the mentality that you have going into it, and then when you go into a gym like Team Alpha Male, you have one of my favorite fighters of all time, Uriah Faber there, but you have that mentality that you be really arrogant and literally just think that you're gonna be the best and the shit, like you know, of all the divisions, and it's not true. Look what happened to Cody Garbrandt, right? Look, Justin Buckles, any girl that's like listening to this, you already know why. It's because he's very misogynistic. So I'm saying, like, Team Alpha Male, you know, definitely probably my least favorite gym to, I guess, train at or to like just look at in terms of their culture. So
yeah, I see what you mean. So, with that, you're going with Yadong, I'm assuming?
I'm going with Song. That's all right.
Despite all that.
So that's the thing. Some people, there are some exceptions to the rule.
Yep. Man. So, yeah. I think, he's going to have hype around him. So, dang, this is going to be
I love Vera, though. Like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing that it was hard for me to choose, but like if I'm going to give the edge to someone, Yadong is dangerous. In my opinion, Vera is a great fighter, like technically wise, but Yadong is freaking dangerous, especially when he just closes that distance. Like it's lights out for you. So you know, we'll see.
Yeah. So yeah. Even though Song Yadong is like I think he will be a slight favorite, but yeah, I think Marlon is like really consistent with his win, so I'll go with Marlon.
We disagree again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
gonna
telling you right
I'm gonna
now,
butcher this. I'm gonna butcher this name like you did.
I do not want to talk about this match. I love the both of them.
Really?
I was gonna say like yes, I
Ah,
do.
cra-
And like here's the thing, I have a favorite. You already know I know who I'm gonna pick, but it doesn't mean I don't like the both of them. I like them for different reasons. So like I'm just saying like as a disclaimer, this is like a little bit hard for me to choose.
So Christoph Jotko. Did I say it right?
Jocko, yeah.
Jocko. Okay. Christoph Jocko versus your boy Eric Anders.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, boy. All right. So
okay, what I'm gonna do is let you say what you have to say because, like I said, this is a hard decision for me in this fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with Eric Anders, he's definitely improved in his last fight. I think it was like a TKO knockout. Yeah, TKO victory. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So with this, he's really explosive with his fighting style. Jocko, yeah, I think his last fight was a decision. I'm gonna have to, yeah, I might lean towards, excuse me, I might lean towards Eric Anders. Although Jocko has the record, I think Anders is trying to, I guess, put some more steam under himself to, I guess, get a win streak going. I think Jocko will have some problems coming into this fight.
Yes, and the reason why, oh man,
you seem so torn.
It's just that hard for me. Like, I'm looking at both the records because I love the both of them. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think of Jocko. The last few people that he has faced was Marc-Andre Barriot, and that was a split decision win.
Right.
Alan Evandowski, he also again decision, but it was unanimous. Now here's the thing, I wish that he would face what's called Edmund Sebastian.
Sebastian, huh?
Right, that was a canceled bout in 2019 now.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, like, I think that he's a better fighter than Anders. I love Anders, like absolutely. Everybody who knows me, I know that I support him. Like when he lost, a couple of fights ago, which I'm gonna look up right now, just because this is a really tough decision for me.
Right.
Because I like the both of them. They're both amazing fighters, but I still think technically wise, Jocko is the better fighter. But maybe. Like, yeah, boy, I don't want to let's go against him, but I'm trying to look at the people that he's faced. Who's the Gerald Mearshot? Obviously, we know him. I knew him personally. He only got a split decision win, and so like it's kind of ish tied in terms of like what both of them have done lately. Because lately is the only thing that matters right now. Funny enough, there's a freaking fighter named Rafael Nadal. I'm like, that makes me think of obviously the tennis player. But that was a little bit funny.
Right.
Eric man, like he of course he lost to Lyoto Machida like back in 2018.
Yeah.
He lost to Thiago Santos, my man. Elias Theodora, who's someone who I also know, and Roundtree, that obviously I absolutely love. So
yeah, I hope he returns soon.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. I mean, just because the fact that I think that Jocko is a better technical fighter, I'm going to lean towards him, even though I think it's closer than what people perceive.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess with that, your final answer will be Jocko.
Christoph Jocko. That's my final answer.
All right, I'll go with Eric Anders.
We disagree again. No, I don't want to disagree on that. All right, so I am going to, because this next fight is close to my heart for a lot of reasons.
Ooh, I'm really hyped about this one.
You know who I'm talking about right now.
Yep. Yeah, you love Ige.
So, I love Ige, but anybody who knows me knows I have the biggest crush on Edson Barbosa.
Is that right? Oh, I didn't expect
Here
that.
we go. I saved this freaking surprise. I did, and it's not just because of how he looked. It's because the freaking leg kicks. That obviously, I don't know. For me, this is like something that's such a big turn on. Barbosa is no joke. He's obviously faced a lot of great people, including, I believe, Paul Felder.
Yes.
Before,
yeah.
and so, man.
And I think he switched to a new fight camp prior to that fight.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. He sure did.
Yeah.
Now,
to American Top Team.
Oh my God, Dan Ige. I obviously knew someone that went to I think Greenville, South Carolina card, and Ige turned up. Like he did. Yeah. I was like, of course, there's a reason why he's 13-2.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. My heart, my heart, and obviously I know you know how amazing Edson Barbosa is as a fighter. That's the reason why I pick him, is because he has that experience. He obviously has weapons. Yeah. He's a smart fighter. Mm-hmm. Same as Ige, but I think like Ige, like I don't know if he just in the beginning he's not as aggressive. I don't know if that's the best word to describe him right now.
A slow starter?
Kind of. And like Barbosa is kind of like he's a little bit at least more consistent in terms of like, he'll throw a leg kick or he'll throw a jab or whatever, right? So my heart dies because I love Barbosa. I've always obviously now I had a huge crush on him before, and then Ige though, like he's grown on me because 13-2 is no joke at all. I know.
So. That's why I was excited for this match, because Ige is such an excellent fighter. That's why he has the record that he has. He's so clean and everything. With Barbosa, Ige has sub wins. I don't know if Edson will be able to, I guess, withstand all of that, considering his more significant losses with Tony Ferguson and Khabib. So when it comes to striking, I think he'll have the most edge, like no doubt about it. But I wonder if Dan will know that and then try to resort to mixing and grappling with his striking. So
I personally, honestly, because I'm looking at the record for Dan Ige, and it's obviously impressive. He's gotten wins over people like Mike Santiago, Jordan Griffin, Danny Henry. All of them have lost 2 times. Funny enough.
Yeah, Mirsad Bektik. Yeah.
Yeah, Mirsad. Yeah, exactly. That was But here's the last 4 bouts? No, 5 bouts. 4 bouts, but then basically 3 of them were decisions. So obviously the first, it was Mirsad. That last bout he won because of split decision. I know that from just how it was. And so Barbosa is someone that he's never actually faced someone like him that is obviously he is a veteran. I'll say that he is. And so I think that because of that, Edson Barbosa has got more fights under his belt than any of his opponents in the last how many years. So for me, Barbosa has seen it all. So that's the reason why I think that sometimes experience does pay off, and obviously Barbosa is quite the athlete himself. So
but also I think Dan Ige will have the edge in cardio, because Edson does have a tendency to blow his load and fade away in early rounds.
Here's the thing. Next fight that we're going to talk about is someone I know who blows their load. Literally almost every fight that I've seen him. I see this person fight 2 times live, and the last 3 times she's blown her load. So I really don't want to talk about Ige versus Barbosa, because it's kind of a little bit hard for me to talk about and to choose. But I will go into the women's straw, which is the co-main event of this fight card now.
As for me, I will go with. This is the hard one. I'll go for the spoiler. I'll go with Barbosa.
Okay, now I like you now. I'm kidding.
Oh wow. All right.
I have my heart goes there. So obviously I want to next fight because I have a lot to say about both of these women. The women's strawweight belt, which is the co-main event, we have Claudia Gadelha versus who was pretty much, she was let's go, a title contender, and she lost, unfortunately. And then you have Angela Hill, who's coming off a really great TKO KO win.
Yeah, so, and she has her own little fight streak going.
She sure does now. Like I said, I have a lot to say about this. I'm gonna give it to you first because I don't want to. Like when I start, it's just gonna go. So.
Right. So oh man, yeah, I think Gadea will be having I guess fight with something to prove. And Overkill Hill, I think she finally has something really going, and that's she's trying to keep that up with going through Claudia Gadea and possibly go for like a title run. Yeah, I mean I think it's 115, correct? Yeah, it's 115. So yeah, I mean, her going against Magnum, it's gonna be interesting to see how she'll if she goes through that and fighting against Gadea and then going up. Now with Gadea, I mean she's a scrapper. I think she even has some submission wins. So this is going to be a challenge for Overkill Hill, especially since the majority of her stuff is by decision and by knockout. And I think some of her losses were by submission, if I'm remembering that correctly. So this will be an interesting matchup. Yeah, Claudia Gadea is gonna try to keep her rank intact. But as for I think that's all I have to say about that. Now, what about you?
Who do you think is gonna win though? Because I'm obviously I have my clear winner, but I think that I wanted to know what you were thinking.
I'll be going for Hill.
For Hill?
Yep.
Oh, Greg, I love you so much right now. Because now, okay, anybody who doesn't know me personally, like I said, I've seen Claudia Gadea fight 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
And she was supposed to be the clear favorite in both those times. But unfortunately, what she does way more often, and people know this, they just don't want to talk about it because they think she's attractive. Like, honestly, they know that she gasses out after 1 or 2 rounds. Girls are strapped. She scraps because the fact that she literally unloads everything that she has in her gas tank for the first 2 and second round. So of course I am not gonna be mad when she just does that. And then Nina Ansaroff, who I saw in Toronto,
you cut up a little bit.
That was not supposed
wait,
to
you cut up a little bit, Monique. Could you go back to what you said?
Oh, hold
on. From Nina Ansaroff.
Gadea, I saw her face Nina Ansaroff, who was obviously Matt Nunez's fiance.
Yep.
I saw her fight, and I was like, "Well, damn, she's gonna win." Cause you just know that she's the better fighter.
Yeah.
And even though you talked about her submission wins, literally the last few matches doesn't freaking matter because she literally gassed herself out in the first 2 rounds. Whether she won or lost, it didn't matter because that's dangerous when you're coming off someone like Hill, who obviously her cardio is impeccable. She's on this roll. She's clearly the dominant in the last few rounds. So I'm not going to be surprised that I'm going to pick Hill. No offense, Claudia, because I know she's obviously the clear favorite in terms of not just rankings, but she is the better fighter. But it doesn't matter if you're the better fighter. If you can't keep your cardio up, then you're going to lose like you just did a few years ago in Toronto against Nina Ansaroff. So of course, that's why I said I had a lot to, talk about, just because, here's the thing, people think that it's all biased. I'm like, no, you go watch your last 3 fights, not biased at all. It's unfortunate that Alexa Grasso couldn't make weight. I felt really bad for Claudia Gadea because I know how much she wants to be back on top because she did have that title, the kind of title bout fight. So, if she pulls it off, I'm not going to be surprised. She is the better fighter, but please, if I have anything to say to her, don't gas yourself out in the first 2 rounds.
All right. So the final decision will be Hill.
Yes, sir.
All righty. All right. So now we move to the main event of the evening. Alistair Overeem.
It's too hard for me.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a fight to remember at the very least. Alistair Overeem versus Walt Harris, the big ticket. All right. I'm gonna be honest though with Overeem's performances. He's clean, he's just as clean as a striker you can be. But I'm just wondering how much power is left in his punches, despite being just having the build that he has. How much power does he have left? As for Walt Harris, it seems like he's just getting stronger and stronger. And now, with that said, I see Alistair maybe trying to take it to the ground just because of how intelligent he is. Uh, I knew Walt Harris had a lot of problems with not Alistair, Fabricio when he was just put in as a substitute because I think there was a title matchup that didn't come true. Oh no, it was against Derek Lewis and he couldn't make it, and then he had to sub in for him, and that's when he just lost in the first round due to a submission. So I wonder how well he cleaned up his his grappling game coming into this fight.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. Okay, now anybody who does not know what has been happening with Walt Harris lately,
I think a lot of people know because of that promo.
It has nothing to do with what I actually think is going to happen in this fight, but I have to talk about it because, guys, his stepdaughter.
Oh, I think a lot of people know about it because of the promo.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Did you see the promo that ESPN had?
Yes, and I couldn't watch the entire thing because I wanted to tear up. So.
I see. But yeah, that was the big thing with it. Like, people. He wanted to dedicate this fight to her. Yeah, it's having this because of me being a big mentality guy. Yeah, you can only imagine how this is going to impact his game. But I think people like that will try to, I guess, be more brazen with their approach in the octagon. And I think Israel talked about it the best. I think it was an interview with Score MMA. He said when he lost his friend, he talks about his this friend that passed away, like who was like a brother to him. He talked about him just I guess being like a fuel in his fire, coming into a fight and saying, "I don't care what happens in this fight. I am ready to die," and all that stuff. And that kind of event just sticks with you and just does something to you and gives you a new lease on your fighting mentality. So I wonder if that will be the case for Harris. If not, I think he'll just fight the way he normally does and just go in there cleanly with. I think it'll be a TKO victory for Walt Harris.
I think I'm on the same boat as you. Mm-hmm. Like, no offense, because Alistair Overeem, I've watched you for God knows how long. Just be that veteran and be that respectable fighter, and he is, and he's good. But at the end of the day, like when you have something happen like this for weeks,
right?
Someone that you care about is just gone because of some freaking unfortunate incident. Funny enough, I always joked around saying that, like, oh my gosh, if Walt Harris knew who it was, like, he's gonna beat him up. Like, but he for real.
Right.
Like, that motivation is it just literally adds another level to your game because you're just more determined. Not saying that Alistair Overeem is not, but he really is more determined now than ever. Not just to dedicate this fight to her, but just to, like, because she wouldn't want that, she wouldn't want him to just stop fighting and like, because of everything. So I think it adds another layer that's maybe probably more complex, but it adds the motivation and the drive and the fire to win this fight. And that's the reason why I think that Walt Harris, he has the power, obviously. So I'm not going to be surprised if he wins this fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. So yeah, I think my final decision will be Walt Harris.
Man, this whole fight card, I feel like me and you, like, there are not many that we were just kind of like debating upon, even though obviously there's maybe 2 or 3 fights in this whole card that I was like, man, like that was one of the hardest decisions, I guess, to make. Walt Harris is like the reason why I don't want anyone to get it twisted. The reason why we choose Walt Harris is not because we feel sorry for him.
Right.
It's because we know what he's capable of.
Exactly.
Like, his fight was kind of like, I wasn't impressed, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Overeem is what I call someone who was like he was this big ass threat before, right? But then
Yeah,
now
Uberim.
he's more Uberim, right? Exactly, and now he's inconsistent. Now
Well, I
that's the
think he's
reason
just
why I choose that.
yeah he
This fight.
he advocated for more of a intelligent approach to fighting because he knows that his power isn't what it used to be. So that's why I think he went for a more counter striker kind of fighting style. With that said, Harris is not as anything but that, but he's more like a slick boxer kind of fighter. It's like a
he sure is.
Yeah, I think it's called a boxer puncher. Yeah, a boxer puncher where you have a little bit of the out fighting, but you're like you don't shy away from the in fight.
I think that this fight card is actually better than what a lot of people think, just because like everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
Myself, and you know that. You know I bought that goddamn pay-per-view on Saturday. I never buy pay-per-views. Like, that's what I'm trying to say right now.
Right.
People only knew a lot of, I guess, kind of big-name fighters on that pay-per-view card, including the girls, which I don't want to ever dismiss because, obviously I stand for a lot of gender inequality stuff. So, obviously, Carla Esparza, Michelle Watterson, you have to realize that, like, they were in the prelims, but they would be on a main card if it was obviously what it is today. So the fight nights, and even the one that happened on Wednesday, that was no joke. Actually.
Yeah, it was a fun card. It was a fun card.
Kelleher, or whatever his name is,
Brian Kelleher.
Like, that was oh god, like I don't want him to win, but he won because he wanted. So it's true. I don't honestly think. I think like biting his own tongue, like trying to call out freaking Sean O'Malley right now.
Right.
Here's the thing, like you call Sean O'Malley because everybody knows. If you get a fight with him, you're going to get a lot of people talking because Sean O'Malley he has that it factor, and so like Sean O'Malley, a lot of people think like just because he came back after 2 years hiatus,
right?
There was ring rust. No, like I mean, like there was no ring rust, and obviously people that hate on him will say that he hasn't faced anyone big. I'm like, well, of course he didn't, because like you know what I mean, like where he's coming from after being a 2-year hiatus fighter. You really think that he's gonna face someone like really big in his division? Like not yet. So I think that like for me like that whole fight card that happened on Wednesday right before my birthday, a freaking dream come true. And like I guess like for me, I wanted to kind of talk about it like in terms of because I know we had our predictions on a couple of the fights, or maybe we did go through the entire thing, but no, I know we went through most of it. We didn't go. So like I want to get your take on what happened during that fight night. If like the fights that you actually do think were memorable for whatever reason. I'm pretty sure I just touched on like 2 of them. So.
To touch on the main event and the co-main event of last card.
Let's do that first. Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to remember the co-main of that card. Let me see. Jags and whoops. Yeah, I know it was Stephen A. Smith. Not Stephen A. Smith, Anthony Smith. What's wrong with me? Jackson.
Lionheart. Just call him Lionheart.
Lionheart. Yeah, that makes sense. So, I'm just trying to remember the co-main.
The co-main was Ben Rothwell versus
that.
Kobe St.
Oh, yeah.
I told you.
Yep, you did. You
Ben
did.
Rothwell was going to win.
I mean, he didn't, like, roll over him. I mean, Ovince St. Preux did, like, piece him a little bit. But I think he was really big. Yeah, Ben Rothwell was a big boy, so he had trouble grappling him. So, yeah, I'll give you that. And I think he started getting tired over the end.
This is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the last 4 fights. So we have Simone versus Borg, Hernandez versus Dober, Rothwell versus Ovince St. Preux, and Lionheart Smith versus Glover Teixeira. We'll talk about those. So I want to talk about what happened with Andre Alvarez.
I think we can save that for after this fight.
We literally did not get that right.
I think we can save that for after for another video. I think for now we can sign off with this fight. Yeah, because for Jacksonville 2, it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously you'll text me.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Oh yeah, definitely.
So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna break my heart a couple of times. A couple of those fights. I'm telling you right now, especially if Barbosa loses. I'm gonna lose my shit. Like,
Right.
for real.
Right. Okay, so with that, that is the end for the fight predictions for UFC Jacksonville 2, Harris versus Overeem. I hope you folks are excited for this fight as we two are, especially for Monique. So